Hello. Now I'm coming to you. This is Jonathan Rizal with your 3.3. So in the previous video, we talked about World War I, Perang Dunia Pertama, that happened in Eropa. But now I'm going on to World War II, yang berlakunya di dua medan pertempuran. That means two battlefields. Pertama Eropa and Asia Pacific. When we mention about Eropa, we are mostly focusing about what countries? Well, tertumpu di Eropa dan Utara Afrika. Why do we mention your Africa, by the way? Is because your countries, if I'm not wrong, it was either your Germany or your Italy went and attacked your Habsha over at Africa. Now, for the Europa aspect, because it's going to be a continuation on World War I, because the Germans were not happy. Germans tidak berpuas hati dengan your perjanjian Versailles. We'll go into that in a little bit. Then for Asia Pacific, which is a new version where we're talking about tertumpunya di tanah besar Asia dan kepulauan Asia Tenggara because of your Japanese. This is the new contender. That is what makes World War II different from World War I, is the involvement of Asia. So let's come into this first. So World War III, before we jump into what happened, we should know why it occurred. What is the latar belakang? Or over here we say fakta tercetusnya over at your textbook page 58. So first thing first, they will tell you there are three reasons. Most notably, I will arrange them from the bottom one here first, because this is a follow-up to your World War I, which is your chapter 3.2. So first, ketidakpuasan hati terhadap perjanjian Versailles. Okay, kenapa? Sebabnya, we have two aspects we have to jelas. Two countries that are involved, Germany and Italy. Okay, I'll be writing J and I as a short form. Same thing for here later, so JI as well. Okay, so let's start with Germany first, because Germany, we have more things to discuss. So for Germany, sebabnya Jerman sebagai negara yang kalah dalam Perang Dunia Pertama, because Germany was on the side of kuasa tengah. So I will put this on yellow, kuasa tengah. I will write the Chinese word zong. Then for Italy, it was on kuasa bertiga. But how come Italy is on the winning side? Why are they still pissed off? Why were they PM mode? Let's see. So Jerman sebagai negara yang kalah dalam Perang Dunia Pertama menganggap perjanjian Versailles tidak adil. That's your first point. They think that your perjanjian Versailles was an unfair thing. Okay, let me put a cancel adil. Okay, adil symbol for me is this. This is my adil symbol. So tidak adil dan menjejaskan kedaulatan negaranya and caused it was like menjejaskan means they ruined the kedaulatan, the kuasa tertinggi of their country. So this is your keyword. Jejas kedaulatan negaranya. Thus, Jerman telah mengalami beberapa syarat in your perjanjian Versailles. There were four things, remember we discussed. That's a very ugly arrow. Okay, there you go. Four things. Number one, kehilangan. Kehilangan means you lose things, something is missing. Kehilangan tanah jajahan. Remember, all of their land and some of the German wilayah has to be given off to the kuasa bertiga. Number two, pampasan. Pampasan means the battle fees, like warfare punya fees. Perang, pampasan perang yang was it cheap? Absolutely not. Tinggi. This is very, very high. Then the next point, kemelesatan means the economic shrinkage. Kemelesatan ekonomi dan inflasi yang teruk. Keyword kemelesatan. You cannot change this word whatsoever. I wrote it wrong. Give me a moment. You cannot change this word whatsoever. It must be kemelesatan ekonomi. Okay, a shrinkage. That's also not how you write shrinkage. What the shrinkage? It's different because like inflation and recession, they all have their differences, so don't confuse these words. Dan inflasi, inflation yang teruk. So if you don't know what inflation is, it's when the amount of money, let's say this used to be priced at 5 ringgit. Now with inflation increasing, that means 5 ringgit, your 5 ringgit is not worth as much as it used to be. That means now you need to pay 50 ringgit to buy the same bag, which is meaning your money is losing its value, thus the prices increase. So that is what is going on in Germany. Move on over to Italy. Okay, what's up with Italy then? So for Italy, negara yang menyertai Pakatan Bertiga, that one, tidak diberikan, I'm not gonna write the word beri, tanah jajahan baharu seperti yang diperoleh by other countries like your Perancis, your French people, and your Poland. The P, letter P's for both countries. Okay, this is important. Why? Because we know that in your World War I, we dah jelaskan, this whole thing started with your persaingan kuasa imperialis. For what? Your tanah jajahan. Okay, this whole thing started for this, so they could get Chappelle Rowan, your bahan mentah. Thus, although it's a small reason, you can understand why they were unhappy with that. So let's go on to the next motive. Once we jelaskan why they were unhappy with the results of the war, we have to go on to our second point, which is kemunculan ideologi baharu. Now they had new ideologies, which is for Germany. I think it's pretty maybe not well known, pretty notorious. Nazisme. Okay, gerakan Nazisme di Germany and gerakan Fascisme di Italy. In English, it's the same, Nazism and Fascism. So, for your Nazism is under the rule of Adolf Hitler. That is your di bawah pimpinannya, under the lead. Then Parti Nazi membentuk kerajaan di Jerman. They were the government system. Number 2, that's like less important. Then they tell you, okay, Nazisme mengagungkan. Mengagungkan means almost to emphasize, to make something glorious. Remember, your keagungan is to glorify your bangsa German, the German people. Then Hitler, I'm gonna put a H for him. Adolf Hitler berusaha memulihkan. Memulihkan means to return, means to repair the nationalisme German. Ayo, my handwriting is not well today. Nationalisme German. Okay, dengan mengetepikan, by ignoring. Mengetepikan is to ignore. So I will write ketepi lah. Ketepi means you put something aside. This thing, don't look at it. Mengetepikan perjanjian Versailles. They were like, this perjanjian does not honor us. Thus, 不要理它. Perjanjian Versailles. Then, what did they do? If you remember Perjanjian Versailles and your persidangan, one of the things was that they akan mengehatkan angkatan tentera German. But they were like, hell no. DGAF, bro. What they did was membina angkatan tentera semula. They built up their military force over there, and they say that not only did they do this, they also menduduki Rhineland semula, meaning that Rhineland is one part, well, used to be one part of Germany, tanah jajahan, but they took it back because this was wilayahnya yang hilang, that they lost during the Perjanjian Versailles. So they're like, ID Gafro, I'm taking my land back, okay? IMPA mode. So that is what's going on for the Nazism. I'm gonna like draw a little line to differentiate this. Okay, it's the same color. Give me a moment. Take some red. Okay. So coming back to this point, thus we move on to Italy. So gerakan Fascisme di Italy. It's a bit shorter compared to Nazisme. So what happened? Gerakan Fascisme di bawah pimpinan Benito Mussolini. Benito, 2 S's, Mussolini. Okay. Benito Mussolini dan Parti Fasis berjaya menguasai kerajaan Itali. They took over the government system. Okay, for your gerakan Fasisme, Parti Fasisme memberikan keutamaan, that's your keyword, kepada kepentingan negara melebihi kepentingan individu dan mereka percaya kepada nasionalisme melampau. Melampau, I don't know if this is a specific English word for this, but it means like, whoa, going up like that, okay? It's like your velocity, increasing velocity, that's what it looks like. Melampau. Dan, melampau. Dan mereka also believe, percaya kepada nasionalisme melampau termasuk berperang, attacking, for what? Bagi meningkatkan image negara. Hey, our country's been disrespected. This is how we're gonna take back our image by attacking other countries. So, bagi memulihkan semula image-nya, Itali meluaskan tanah jajahan dengan menguasai Habsya, Ethiopia, dan Albania. Okay, which is why when we said dua medan pertempuran, we touched on to your Africa. Here's why. Now, we go on to our final point. Remember we mentioned about a little group called Kegagalan Liga Bangsa-Bangsa to protect the amanan? Well, you can imagine very, very successful, right, this thing? How successful this thing was. So, they failed, kegagalan, the failure of the League Bangsa-Bangsa. Why? Liga Bangsa-Bangsa yang berperanan untuk memastikan what? Keamanan dunia, world peace, dan mewujudkan kerjasama antara bangsa, everyone working together worldwide. That did not happen, as you can see. So, namun begitu, kegagalan Liga Bangsa-Bangsa dalam usaha menguatkuasakan perjanjian pelucutan senjata in their efforts to menguatkuasakan, to strengthen their rules about, hey, no firearms, guys. Remember, Germany was supposed to cease fire, okay, no more weapons for their perjanjian pelucutan senjata, dan menangani krisis pencerobohan. These two separate things, okay? Menangani crisis pencerobohan. What does pencerobohan mean? Countries coming in, the invading of other countries, which we quite openly see with your Germany and your Italy. Dalam berlaku selepas Perang Dunia Pertama, menyebabkan dunia terdedah, okay, exposed kepada konflik berterusan dan mengakibatkan meletusnya Perang Dunia Kedua. Because they failed to menjamin these two things, thus we see the beginning of World War II. Now, what was the Cabaran face, right? We're talking about how they're trying to stop the crisis pencerobohan. Here are some of the things here. I'm gonna do this. So, the first thing, we have like your crisis Manchuria. Manchuria is referring to the current China, where they were taken over by Japan. My Manchuria is spelled very interestingly. Manchuria. Okay. Then we have your perjanjian pelucutan senjata. Did not work, right? How come? How come this perjanjian did not work? In this little blue box of your textbook, they tell you German saw that they were like, hey, no weapons. So they were like, oh, if that's so, I'm just gonna leave, keluar dari daripada Liga Bangsa-Bangsa. Dan not only did they do that, memperbesarkan kuota to make something bigger. Dia punya angkatan tenteranya secara terbuka, just openly being like, okay, wartime, I'm gonna make my military army even stronger. And finally, for the crisis pencerobohan, another country, you know, your Italy, yang menyerang Habsya all the way on Africa. Okay, so this is the entirety of the faktor-faktor yang tercetusnya Perang Dunia Pertama. And before I jump into the next part, which is the peristiwa, what happened? So peristiwa, what do you call this? Peristiwa Perang Dunia Kedua is a little bit more important compared to peristiwa in World War I. Because World War I, we're just going through dates. This one, we have genuine details. I want to emphasize over here for the kemunculan ideologi baharu. One thing I forgot to mention was the whole idea. Why did we have the kemunculan ideologi baharu? Bagi mengatasi masalah kemelesetan ekonomi, the economic shrinkage. Italy dan Jerman mengadakan gerakan politik radical. You know, we saw this word radical before in your regarding your was it your kaum muda? These bold ideas yang dipimpin oleh nasionalis berfahaman melampau. A bit over, a bit crazy, man. And there's another thing is that on the side they give you a little post, Stempels German 1938, where they put these two men together and they have meraihkan hubungan era Hitler dan Mussolini. Slogan di atas setem membawa maksud dua orang dan satu perjuangan. They might ask you this in the objective, that's why I'm trying to mention it here. I cannot draw it out to you, but you can imagine there's like one man here, then another man here, which is your Mussolini. There you go, here's a hat. Oh wait, they're both wearing hats. Okay. You did not ask for me to draw this, but I will because I can. They're wearing suits. Ta-da! Okay, they might ask you this. So the slogan at the bottom is dua orang, satu perjuangan. Two men, one mission. Two men, one journey. Sorry, that's not funny. So there is your faktor tersususnya. But now I want to talk about what are the things that happen. Okay, there are four major things. Number one, your penaklukan Jerman terhadap Eropa Barat, the western side of Europe. Penaklukan means like when you also say conclusion, the conquerization. Is that what? The way the German conquered, okay, colonization. So, German mula serangan Blitzkrieg. Cannot write this. Blitz, the T here. Blitzkrieg. Okay. Important. Put a little star. Blitzkrieg yang bermaksud serangan kilat. Serang kilat meaning what? Meaning you fight like lightning yang and it's gone. Okay, that's your serangan kilat. Kapal terbang Jerman mengebom sasaran musuh. They bombed their enemy targets. Diikuti dengan serangan kereta kebal dan tentera motosikal. So it was like three things attacking their enemies all at the same time, thus calling it serangan kilat. Okay, then using this method, German berjaya menawan countries like, Poland, okay, your Denmark, Belanda, Norway, Belgium, Luxembourg, and your Perancis. So if I were to remember any, I would remember your Perancis, then Poland, and Denmark. You could remember that country, but I would also choose to memorize Belanda and Belgium. Why? Because this has a correlation with World War I. Perancis and Poland, we emphasized over here that they got their tanah jajahan. See? Hey, where am I? Tanah jajahan, Perancis, Poland. Thus, I would emphasize them over here. Then Belanda, we know that. Belanda I just put in because I like Belanda, because you mentioned a lot of Belanda in Form 2 and Form 3. Then Belgium is because in World War I, we mentioned the influence when German cut in through the land of Belgium to attack Perancis. The British were mad at them. And speaking of the British, we're gonna come over to the British immediately after this. But first, in 1941, German menguasai hampir keseluruhan negara di Eropa Barat, meaning that the Germany, I was gonna say British, what? The Germany was so close, hampir, basically taking over the entirety of keseluruhan countries in Eropa Barat. Can you imagine just how insane that idea is? They were like, okay, that's it, we're coming back. So now, speaking of British, let's go over to pengeboman British, the bombing of Britain. Okay, Britain. So it's still basing on German. German not happy with anyone. Okay, so German melancarkan serangan udara, an air force attack, dan laut, marine attack, laut, terhadap Britain on the September of 1940 to June 1941. Now, German menyerang. Okay, I write the kata base word, serang dan memusnahkan. What did they attack and destroy? Pelabuhan. Okay, it's very strategic, right? Pelabuhan, because that's where all your trading comes in from. Then your kawasan perindustrian. where your industry things happen. Then your pertahanan udara, so that there are no reinforcements, air reinforcements to take them over. And this, what did it cost? Well, you can imagine the economy of British going on a landslide, going down. Menjejaskan ekonomi Britain, the same way German punya ekonomi was jejaskan oleh perjanjian Versailles. Good. Going to the next point. Penyertaan Itali dalam perang di Eropa. So now it's Italy's turn. They've already attacked Habsha, so they're like, okay, I'm coming over to Europe now. Italy, sekutu Jerman, mengisytiharkan perang. Isytihar, that's your word, that's your keyword. Terhadap Britain and Perancis. So, your tentera Itali, let me draw your tentera Itali. I menyerang Perancis melalui arah selatan. I'm just going to draw the symbol here. This is selatan. Meanwhile, your tentera German use blue for that, German attacked via the utara side up here. Thing. So that means I don't actually know what. Can I draw out the map? I feel like that'd be a lot of effort. Let's see. This is France. So one was attacking from the utara side, utara, which was your Germany. Then one was attacking from selatan, your Italy. Amazing. I'll rub this off. We don't need to look at that. Now we go to our final point. What was the final, like, his very big major historical event? You can feel, right? The Germany, they feel like they're popping off right now. They're on their height of it. Okay, they're at the height, maximum kemuncak, okay, of their whole perjuangan. So we come to serangan Jerman ke atas Rusia. They were taking on this gigantic country called Russia. Setelah menguasai Eropa Barat, Hitler ingin menguasai Russia, yang merupakan empire terbesar di Eropa. They wanted to take over, okay? I should put that first. Ingin menguasai. They want to take control, take over Russia. So, they melancarkan this special one here, we use yellow, your Operasi Barbarossa. Barbarossa, double S. Okay? Then, yaitu serangan. Is it small or big? What do you think? Such a huge country, we should go all out, besar-besaran untuk menawan Rusia. Dan Hitler telah mengarahkan, over on the side of page 60 you can see here, Hitler telah mengarahkan lebih 3 juta tentera, more than 30 million soldiers menyerang Rusia dan dibantu oleh 3,350 kereta kabel dan 2,270 airplanes. Operasi disertai oleh tentera Finland, Hungary dan Romania. You can imagine just how big this operation was to fight one country, Russia. Operasi ini menyasarkan means dia punya goal, their point, their target. There we go. Bandar utama di Rusia, which were 3 places: your Leningrad, Moscow, and Stalingrad. I've written this wrong, by the way. This is Grad. Okay? So, we come on. Do you think that this succeeded? Do you think that German managed to succeed to defeat the biggest kuasa out there? The answer is no. And we're going to talk about this in a moment. But look over to your textbook, page 60, right? Do you see the propaganda post over there? Poster propaganda perang Rusia yang bermaksud Rusia bebas daripada penaklukan Jerman. Russia is free from the colonization of Germany because they failed. This was not a successful thing. Operasi Barbarossa was a failure. Now, to be fair, the defense of Germany, interesting of me to say that, they attacked during the winter season, meaning they were at a significant disadvantage compared to like any other timeline, thus contributing to their very big flop for their attack on Russia. And so let's talk about how this single flop was also pretty responsible for the end, berakhir Perang Dunia Kedua di Eropah. So first, we talk about the two peranan that caused the end of your Perang Dunia Kedua, your World War II. Peranan kuasa bersekutu. Hear this word, kuasa bersekutu. That's right, they are still forming their alliances. Kuasa bersekutu dalam usaha menamatkan perang tersebut. Can you imagine? Okay, who are the kuasas part of your what do you call this? Who are the kuasas involved? Let's say. I believe they give it to you in your textbook. Let me search for it in a minute. Amanias. Hello, is it not here? What the? Okay, man, it's not here. That's amazing. Wait, they do give it to you. I missed it on page 59. Kuasa Bersekutu is referring to, you can remember your original MVPs for the Pakatan Bertiga, Britain, Perancis, and your Russia. Of course, there's now America Syarikat, your MVP, AS. Then what's the next kuasa that's on the side of German, Italy, and a specific Asia country, Japan? Kuasa Paksi. Paksi means like the angle. We have German, Italy, and Japan. Okay, so let's come. How did it end? Well, these kuasa bersekutu, they were working together. They're like, okay, we have to stop this war. It's enough. So, kerjasama tata kuasa besar. Well, Presiden Amerika Syarikat, Franklin Roosevelt, Perdana Menteri Britain, your Prime Minister, there's a difference. So, President of America Syarikat and the President, President of Russia, Joseph Stalin, and Perdana Menteri, meaning your Prime Minister of Britain, Winston Churchill, bertemu untuk membuat keputusan politik. They were like, okay, we need to resolve this. Keputusan politik dan ketenteraan. They were like, okay, we need something military-wise that can help with whatever political disaster we have. Di medan peperangan, on the battlefield. Let me write this. Medan peperangan. Peperangan meaning war, the warring field, the battlefield. Tentera bersekutu, mereka buat apa? Ketiga-tiga perkhidmatan, iaitu tentera darat, udara, dan laut digunakan. They use all three kinds of soldiers, we can say, military ways of fighting. Okay, so let me illustrate this somewhere. Here's a blue pen. Okay, so yaitu tentera darat. Okay, here, darat meaning on land, then you have your laut, and finally your sky, udara, your air force, beroperasi di bawah commander tertinggi. It's okay, let me draw a stickman. Commander, okay, here, commander tertinggi, tertinggi bersekutu, yang diketuai oleh Amerika Syarikat. Remember your MVP? They were in charge of this. Now, we go on. So did they succeed? Well, what did they exactly do? Keberhasilan strategi serangan belas. Let's talk about what was their very effective strategy. Number one, kegagalan Jerman dalam operasi menawan Rusia. Why did they have the intention to do this? Because German failed to attack Germany. What? German failed to attack Germany? German failed to attack Russia. Thus, springing the idea that, hey, we can defeat them now because they're weak. They've wasted a lot of resources on trying to attack Russia. Kegagalan Jerman dalam operasi menawan Rusia. Awalnya serangan terhadap Rusia berjalan lancar. It was actually pretty smooth in your operasi Barbarossa. Tetapi Jerman kehilangan banyak nyawa tentera due to the very, very cold weather. So banyak nyawa, a lot of souls, we would say, or lives were lost. apabila perang melewati dua musim sejuk di Rusia. That is a very key point here, that this happened during the musim sejuk. Melewati, it had to be held back, it had to be 延迟. What's the word for it? To be belated to musim sejuk in Russia. Then tempo perang panjang, because they had to accommodate the weather there, the freezing cold weather. Tempo perang menjadi panjang because they had to wait it out. It was a very very long process, 长, dan menyebabkan tentera Jerman kehilangan apa? They lost things. So here, let me draw them out. Tentera Jerman menghilang they had the kehabisan. That means they ran out of peluru, bullets. Then minyak, oil, and finally food. Probably the most important thing here. Akhirnya melemahkan semangat tenteranya. Because of the horrible situations they were in, this weakened the energy, the force, the support of the people, semangat of their soldiers. Then your general German, Friedrich von Paulus, okay, let me put this here, right? Because of all these factors, your general German, who we know as my name is Friedrich von Paulus, mengingkari, disobey. He disobeyed Hitler. This is big news, everyone. Perintah Hitler menyerah kalah kepada tentera Rusia di Stalingrad. He did not listen to the orders. Perintah means orders of Mr. Hitler. He was like, sir, are people gonna die here? I DGAF anymore. I'm not letting all of my men die here. Thus, menyerah kalah. Menyerah kalah, I cannot read anymore. That means to surrender. They surrendered themselves to Russia. Where? At Stalingrad, which is one of the main sasaran utama of German, if you still remember lah. There were 3 places, right? Moscow, Stalingrad, and one more, which was, look over to your page, A60, which was Leningrad. Okay. Grad. Okay. Come on. They spelled wrong again. Freak me. Yippee! Okay, moving onwards to next point. Kejayaan operasi pendaratan tentera bersekutu. After them losing and surrendering, kejayaan means the success of another operasi of landing pendaratan. Hold up, I'm gonna free up some space really quick. Operasi pendaratan meaning the operation to land, okay? You feel me? I feel you. Okay, there's some space. Operasi pendaratan by your tentera bersekutu. Okay, your powers over there, they were like, okay, we have to team up, gang up on German now. So, melalui operasi nama code D-Day, you know, for Doomsday, Doomsday. Tentera bersekutu berjaya mendarat di Normandy, Perancis. Okay, that's your keyword here. Mika berjaya mendarat, to land at not Paris, Normandy in France. Just put it like this. Okay. Dan mereka berjaya memperdayakan tentera Jepun. They managed to scam, managed to tipu, to not lie, managed to, let me think of the word really quick. Whoa, what is the word? Memperdayakan, not necessarily to scam, but to mislead. Sure, let's use the word mislead. Mislead tentera Jepun to thinking, tentera Jepun, my head, tentera Jerman. Dengan menyebarkan maklumat meyakinkan tentera Jerman bahawa pendaratan tentera bersekutu berlaku di Calais. There was a lot of news buzz going on. They're gonna land at Calais. So we're like, oh, actually I don't know if it's pronounced Calais. I'm just gonna call it that. Calais. They're gonna land at Calais, and thus all of them were preparing over there. But turns out, haha, we were landing at Normandy. So, kejayaan ini telah meningkatkan semangat tentera bersekutu. You should know the semangat of your soldiers is very crucial, okay? Semangat tentera bersekutu, because they managed to scam them, to deceive. There we go. This is the word. Deceive. Okay, deceive them. Menjadi titik tolak kejayaan membebaskan Perancis dan negara Eropah Barat daripada penaklukan Jerman. This was the first point, pushing point where they could free Perancis and a lot of other countries from the colonization of Germany. Tentera bersekutu memasuki Jerman dari arah barat. Tentera Rusia menyerang Jerman dari arah bahagian timur. Hey, does this look familiar? Exactly. This is what German did, right, with Italy. Now we're seeing this coming back to them, where they attack from both sides, which is German here, they're attacking from barat, which is your tentera bersekutu. Okay, then from timur side we have the tentera Rusia. And we move on to our final point for the keberkesanan, which is the kematian of Hitler. That's right, then Hitler passes away. And this proves almost the peak of the defeat of Germany. Mengubah landscape perang di Eropah without the major guy pushing everything. Mengubah, change the landscape, change the way everything was going in the warring field of Europe. So German, without their main Hitler, their main dictator to push them forward, German menandatangani perjanjian. They were like, okay, we're done here. Menandatangani, meaning to sign a contract, perjanjian. Menyerah kelah, to surrender. Kalah, what I keep saying kerah. Kerah is a different word, by the way. Menyerah kalah, yang menamatkan perjanjian. This officially ended the World War II. Okay? Then over to the side, they also do tell you some things like for the keberkesanan, strategi serangan, kesilapan kuasa paksi membuat keputusan politik dan ketenteraan dalam operasi menawan Rusia membawa kegagalan. Meaning they're trying to tell you that because your kuasa paksi over here, well, kecuali kan Jepun lah, your kuasa paksi, the way they strategized and put in all your effort to attack and take over Russia that failed them, gave the peluang, the open space for kuasa bersekutu under pimpinan Amerika Syarikat to see that they could launch their own perancangan ketenteraan, terutamanya kejayaan operasi penerbangan tentera bersekutu di Normandy, Perancis, to slowly set free the states that have been colonized and end Perang Dunia Kedua. So this is everything that happened in your Europe side, because then we have to move on for your 3.4 where we talk about the influence of Japan. Okay, what did Japan do instead? So before that, let's give a quick recap when we end this video. Okay, this one's a bit heavier than World War I, so let's talk. Faktornya were the two things. Number one, pissed off, ketidakpuas hati your terhadap the perjanjian Versailles. We have your Germany and your Italy. Germany because menjejaskan kedaulatan mereka, and this perjanjian was tidak adil in their eyes, thus menyebabkan mereka mempunyai kehilangan tanah jajahan, pampasan perang yang tinggi, then had the kemelesatan ekonomi and inflation. For Italy, it's simple. No tanah jajahan. I want tanah jajahan. Okay? That's it. Then they both had their ideas. Your Nazisma. Okay, you actually cannot see anything. Your Nazisma and your Fascisma. I'm gonna highlight it there. Ta-da, ta-da. That was led by Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. Both of these ideas were very radical, and in the end, they kind of set loose all that's gonna happen. Is, you know, this dua orang satu perjuangan. Okay. Then we go to the kegagalan Liga Bangsa-Bangsa. With these two parties just going on and attacking other people, you know, going to Habsha, Albania, going to Rhineland, it's very evident that there is no more world peace. Keamanan dan kerjasama antarabangsa gone. And their efforts to menguatkuasakan perjanjian pelucuran senjata failed. Trying to menangani the crisis pencerobohan of invasion failed because what? There was, the thing for Italy, the crisis Habsha, then there was the one Manchuria from Japan. And when Germany saw that, we were like, hey, the perjanjian pelucuran senjata, hello, Germany was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave from your league, bangsa-bangsa. Then I'm gonna expand my army as well. Then we move on to the things that happened. These three things, very, very successful. Taking over Europe, with their blitzkrieg, their serangan kilat, bombing Britain, very, very successful. And then Italy joining in. But finally, the one that kind of set up the downfall, which was serangan serangan Jerman ke atas Rusia, okay? With the Operasi Barbarossa, that in the end failed because mereka menghilang banyak nyawa, melewati 2 musim sejuk because of the weather, and they were losing food, oil, and bullets, and thus this melemahkan their semangat. The soldiers, they were tired, okay? Thus your general German Friedrich von Paulus mengingkari perintah Hitler and decided to surrender. He just ignored the orders given by Hitler. Then moving on to the way it ended, there was the kejayaan Operasi Pendaratan, Doomsday, D-Day, where they landed over at Normandy, Perancis to set them free, Perancis, the Twice song, come on, set me free. And then they had the kematian Hitler, which really set this whole war into stone. They put everything to a halt because there was no one pushing for Germany to continue taking over these other countries. Then of course we have to talk about why was there the Doomsday operation, because your kuasa kuasa bersekutu, that we need to do something. Thus, your President Amerika Syarikat, your President Rusia, and your Perdana Menteri Britain all membuat keputusan to halt this mission. Okay? So, quick recap also, kuasa bersekutu, you have your Britain, Perancis, Russia, and Amerika Syarikat. For your kuasa paksi, you have your German, Italy, and Japanese. Okay? We cool here? If so, I am gonna end this video here. I am very, very thirsty. Bye bye.